This is it. It is our final day in China. Hello everyone and welcome to Saturday. Highlights for today include the Great Wall. Not all of it. Obviously it's 5,000 miles long, but a section of it so we can actually see it. And pandas. And maybe a few other things along the way. It all begins now. Let's go. So we've made it to one of the many entrances for the Great Wall. We're coming from Beijing, so this is the eastern side of the wall. And even within the eastern side of the wall, there's like, from what I can tell, multiple places to enter. And so this is the one we're at. I can't tell you exactly where it is because I don't know exactly where we are. But like whenever you go in, you've got two ways to go. You can go over this way, or you can go over this way. This way looks a little easier because this way becomes steep immediately. And we've been trying to figure out which one we want to do. I'm most interested in height because I'd like to get as high as possible so then I can get a better view. And I think it's the harder one. We're going to ask our guide and then we'll get started. So Mark and Mallory decided to go the easier, longer way. And Rhonda and I are going to be traveling up the, I guess, harder way. Our tour guide said it was harder. I'm hoping that it also means more. Well, I hope it also means more height. I'm hoping that we get a little bit higher in the air, but I guess we'll see.
Neither way is easy.
Correct. I didn't get a shot of the sign that said, please climb as your body allows. I should have grabbed a shot of that. Some of these steps are
Steven-sized.
Yeah. Some of them are like 4 bricks high. And by some, I'm actually seeing that it's most. I understand now why this is a harder climb. Because like, you can see like how tall these stairs are. But I can already tell that it's going to give us a really good view when we're finally there.
I climbed the wall!
This is the first tower, and I severely underestimated how difficult that would be. But it wasn't until you started climbing that you realized how difficult each stair was, because each stair is like 2 or 3 stairs. God. So it's like you went 3 times the distance. If the stairs from here to there are the same, I don't know how it's possible. I wonder how far Mark and Mallory got. The other thing that I hadn't really considered is that we're here at noon and the sun is just like beating down on you. So in addition to climbing the steepest stairs of your life, it's also hot as hell. So getting into the little shelters here is super nice because it's shaded, but the little windows have a lot of airflow coming through. But I'm starting to seriously doubt how far we're going to be able to go. Yeah, all of the steps after the first little tower have been easier considerably. I'm sure that I'm sure this is all a trick, and in a minute they'll start getting really steep again. So we've made it up to the second building, and as of right now, it looks, at least to the naked eye, that we're about the same altitude as the farthest building on that side. I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems like it, so I'd say for sure that this side goes a little higher. How much higher, I don't know. The other thing that sucks is that only that first section was super, super difficult with like the 3 and 4 high brick steps. Everything else has actually been pretty easy. It's an illusion of difficulty. So hopefully we can get to the next building pretty easily, although if I'm honest, it looks like it's quite a ways up there. Okay, so we were much higher in the air on this side than the other side by a lot, and we made it to that tower that we saw in the beginning, and it keeps going. And I think I'm done.
I think there's a blue rupee up here. Aren't we supposed to find it?
We don't know how many flights we walked because someone's phone said 40 and someone said like 60 something. But some of the steps were tiny and some of the steps were massive, so I have no idea. The view is beautiful though. It's been a fun journey coming up, but now the perilous journey down. My legs feel like jello, and like Rhonda was saying on the way up, and I felt the same way, I thought that it was going to be like an initial climb, and then the entire wall was going to kind of be flat, as opposed to stairs non-stop the entire way, because nothing could prepare me for that. And my legs are so shaky. I'm not looking forward to the trip down, especially because at least from here, it seems mighty far. Oh boy. Well, we did it. We actually made it. It was all like from the time up to the time back, it was a little over an hour. I'm sure it took a lot longer to go up than to come back. But man, that was an experience. And the one up there isn't even the highest one we went to. I'm just really curious. Oh, there's Mark and Mal. How'd you do?
We'll show you on the map.
You want to see the map?
Yeah, I want to see the map.
We're here, right?
Yeah.
We went all the way. I'm kidding. We only made it to here.
Oh, okay. I think we went to 13.
Is that how far you went?
Yeah. The thing is, even though it doesn't look that far, it's really
That
high.
is so. Our side is.
It's
I mean,
a lot
it's steeper than you think, but your side looks steeper, so I'm assuming it is steeper.
So at the beginning, the bricks were 4 high
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
So like 18 inches.
Yeah.
Ours
One
were
step.
sporadic. Ours were something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ours were too.
Yeah.
Ours versus
Oh my
yours.
God.
Yeah.
Are your legs shaking?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And like we would stop and like sit because we couldn't make it to another area,
Yeah.
and we would just feel like we would fall forever
so-
if you fell.
That's-
Like we
that's
felt
where
dizzy.
we got scared.
Yeah.
Height issues.
Yeah. Yeah. Even now, Rhonda too. Our legs are just like shaking wildly.
You want an ice cream?
A Sprite or something. Yeah, sounds great.
So my dad and I went that way, and we made it pretty much to that building that has a flat roof up there. And then we sat on a stair for a while, and then we came back.
Being back in the parking lot and seeing exactly where we went is wild, because like this is the first building, and everyone kind of thought we went there, but in fact we went. Is it this one? I think it's that one. It's hard. It's even hard to see, and it feels like a million miles away. That was a long walk. I'm glad I did that. But like now, I really just want to sit on the bus, and more than anything, I want to eat. I want to eat so bad.
After lunch, they took us to the site of the 2008 Olympic Games, which were here in Beijing, and they're going to be here again in 2022. So they're reusing a lot of the same stuff. So there's a lot of construction going on, but they wanted to show us this site where the Bird's Nest, the opening ceremony stadium is, and all the other stuff they had from 2008.
So seeing that first panda like play with the ball and be active is a big deal, because pandas sleep like 20 hours a day. So that's why the other ones are asleep. They're very lazy animals. There's had to be like crazy conservation efforts to even help them survive, and the numbers in the last few years are starting to like climb up again. But like they're very lazy, helpless animals. They're not willing to like hunt for food. They're not even willing to like have sex. Our tour guide was explaining that they have special like panda pornography that the pandas have to be exposed to even get them in the mood. They're fascinating creatures. I'm glad that we got to see them like move around a little bit though. So after we saw the pandas, there was a quick dinner, and then we had to get back to the hotel, and it was much harder than I ever would have imagined. Our tour guide, Joe, had been telling us that we may run into some pretty big difficulties getting back to the hotel tonight because, as we'd mentioned before, there is a huge military parade getting ready to happen because of the 70th anniversary of China's new government. And I believe the actual date of that is like October 1st, but they're doing practice runs, they're doing rehearsal, and they are closing down huge sections of Beijing. And he told us, like, I don't think our driver's going to be able to take us back to the hotel. And he couldn't. They got as close as they could, and then we had to walk 2 kilometers. And during that walk, there was a ridiculous like police/military presence. Like they were everywhere. And then we finally got to a place where the road was just straight up closed. Like they had it gated off, and there was just like, you know, police everywhere. And we really needed to keep going straight. And Joe was like, just wait here. And then he went and talked to one of the cops, and him and the cops were yelling at each other. And then he went to a different cop and talked to him, and then he came back. And in the meantime, one of the cops started like yelling at our group in Chinese, and we're just staring at him like, this isn't gonna get anything done, because he really wanted us off the sidewalk. And then Joe came back and was talking to that cop and was basically, I mean, I don't speak Chinese, but it seemed like he was trying to be like, listen, we have to get through. If we can't get through, like, all these foreigners are going to be lost. And the cop really wasn't having any of it. But they had a long back and forth, and finally the cop like was like, fine, you know, whatever. And this crazy. And I felt really bad for our tour guide because, like, he doesn't have any experience going through this specific thing. Like, this happens once a decade. So this is like one of the only times he'll ever have to deal with this very specific thing. And it just so happens that we're in the right place at the right time for all of this to go down. And we finally got back to the hotel, but it required, you know, all those negotiations with the police, and then also walking like a back alley to get into the hotel through a back door.
And a turnstile.
Yeah. It was weird. And like I couldn't film any of that because one of the things I had read online was when you're going to China, like, don't film the police. And I was like, okay, I won't do that. But yeah, it's crazy how many police and military police are here. Jesus Christ. It's just, there's a lot. Anyway, we made it back, and now the fun really begins, because we being Mark, Rhonda, Mao, myself, and then actually another couple who is also from Milwaukee, we are leaving super, super early. We have to leave the hotel at 4 a.m. And Joe, our tour guide, was telling us, like, because of the military presence right now for this military parade, he's like, we don't know how close they're going to let us get to pick you up in the morning. Which is like the craziest thing. But it's out of his control. So we're gonna wake up in the morning and we don't know how far we're gonna have to walk to potentially get out of where all of the military stuff is going on, that the bus can pick us up. And it's also so early, and there's a bunch of other groups that have to go that Joe can't come with us. So the plan is for us to get on this bus or this van and to have the driver drive to another hotel that is close to the airport where one of Joe's colleagues, Frank, is staying, and then Frank is going to get up early in the morning and help us at the airport because our driver doesn't speak English, whereas Frank does. The whole thing is like crazy, and I understand like why it's happening, because again, this is a once in a decade thing, but it's wild. It's wild, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. That's basically what it comes down to. We have to get out of Beijing. We have to get out of this area of the city so we can actually get to the airport. And I don't know what that's going to be like, so I'm really hoping that tomorrow goes smoothly. We make it to our flight on time, because obviously tomorrow's going to be a crazy long day. We're going to have to transfer to Shanghai, and then we have a very long flight from Shanghai back to Chicago. And because we're going the other way over the international date line, it's all going to be one day. Tomorrow is Sunday, and we're going to arrive Sunday, but we're going to have traveled an insane amount of time. Anyway, sorry to drop all that on you, but it was stressful. You know, there's been, I guess, a lot of aspects of China related to like the police presence and stuff in the cities that was a little like, for the entirety of the trip. But then, seeing all of that tonight was like, whoa. Jeez. So, it's just crazy that like so much of the city is like shutting down. So I'm hopeful that we will painlessly get out of Beijing tomorrow. Fingers crossed. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?